Hi, I've got some album recommendations for you for this week. I've got 7, so I hope you can kind of stick with me. I've got so many because it's been so long since I've posted. I've been really busy, so by the time I have a moment to record, I am exhausted and just not in the right mood. So my goal was to do these weekly, and that's obviously been a big fail, so I'll shoot more for bi-weekly. See if we can keep the list a little bit shorter next time. 7 bands, and I'm really fidgety tonight. I think I forgot my meds. The first 2 bands that I'm going to suggest that you listen to are thrash bands. And we have a listener, Steve, out in Long Island, and he's definitely a fan of the thrash and the older 80s sounding bands, and he'll send me some to check out. Well, Steve, these are 2 for you to check out. They are awesome. But then don't quit there. You've got to go through the whole list. Yeah, 5 more, Steve. And you got to listen. The first band is from California called Chemi-Kill. Chemi-Kill. This is going to be a long night. Not to be confused with the Ohio band Chemi-Kill. It's older. This is Chemi-Kill. Album is called Extinction is Permanent. This is a very good thrash band, very killer band. They're very reminiscent of late 80s, early 90s thrash. You can hear like a very noticeable influence from Testament, Exodus, Slayer, those style of bands. Very good stuff. I like it a lot. I'll leave it on my iPod and shuffle. Don't know that I'll be like putting it on. I don't know if I'll ever had the feeling like, ooh, put that one on, but I'll leave it on for shuffle. And it's kind of typical of thrash. They've got that angry, defiant, obstinate, against the man kind of theme going on in their record. And one message that they repeat a lot that I love, totally makes me laugh. And like, this is a quote: "Don't be a bitch, be a man." I love that. Makes me laugh. Fucking nut up. I love that. So give these guys a shot. They have a lot of potential. They're very young, and this is their first release, so it'll be awesome to see where they go from here. Hopefully they just keep getting better. The next thrash band I recommend is Fallen Angels, and this is their second release, and it's called Engines of Oppression. They have more of a modern thrash feel, and it has kind of a death influence to it, and I liked that. There's a noticeable influence from Cephalic Carnage. I love Cephalic, so that's a good thing. The one thing that kind of irritated, irritate is not the word. The one thing I noticed about this band, though, is the vocals. They kind of don't match the music. And it's like, in tone and pitch, I mean. They're definitely thrash style vocals. And I know, thrash vocals are typically very discordant, kind of ugly sounding. And I love that. It was something I like. I love the ugliness. But in this case, it's more like they clash a little too much. So maybe if they changed the pitch or the tone of a guitar, maybe it might just totally knock me on my ass. I don't know. The other thing that's a little bit different about them is I believe they had three slower instrumental songs. It's a little odd for me. But it just goes to show their talent, that they're not all about speed and anger, that they've got they've got more in them than just that. So I may not be able to listen to the instrumental onlys all the way through, but they're good, and it's definitely a good band. I think with the vocal thing, though, they might be coming off the iPod. We'll see. Give them a try, and their first album as well. So the next band I recommend is an older death metal band. I believe they're from the Netherlands. Been around since, I guess, the mid to late 90s. I think late 90s. It's not one that I've ever listened to, though. It's called Houwitser, and the album is Bestial Atrocity. And the first thing I noticed was the vocals. I guess those tend to stick out for me a lot, huh? Seems to be a trend, at least this week. These vocals, though, are phenomenal. I loved them. Very dark and beastie. That kind of stuff makes me happy. However, the rest of the album's totally unremarkable. They're definitely not going to be on my iPod, just because there's nothing remarkable about them. There's nothing that made me want to listen to that album again. There's nothing bad about them. It's just they just don't stand out. So, but I think this is their sixth album, so I will go back and give their previous albums a listen. But that's going to be a while. So, eventually I'll get to them, maybe next year. So this next band is a Chilean funeral, deathy, doomy band, and I fucking love them. Mars de Gris. Hopefully I'm not butchering that name entirely. The album is Streams Inward. Love it. It's phenomenal. The vocals are fabulous, and the music is very dark. It's heavy. It's oppressive. I loved it. It fits my mood the past couple of weeks, and I've listened to it several times since I picked it up, and it's going to stay on my iPod. I'll be listening to it a couple of times a week for sure. The emotional feeling, that comes through the music is just awesome. I love it. Very, very dark and heavy. Yeah, it's my thing. The next band I actually picked up because one of the guys in this band, in this project, has been in some other atmospheric-y, black metal-y bands, and the emotional feelings you get from his music are ones that I love, and I've always been a fan of his music. This band is called Groover, and the album is Boogie Grind. This is definitely much different than what I'm used to hearing him do, but it's awesome. It is phenomenal. It's kind of a jazzy, I guess, boogie, because it's in the name too. It's a jazzy grind. It's real fun, fast music, and very gritty, and it's awesome. There's a lot of humor in it. I listened to it 3-4 times straight through. Just kept putting it back on. It's just that good, and it still makes me laugh. The humor in it is just awesome. And the particular guy that I like a lot, I just found out he started up his own record label, and it's not one I can pronounce, but you can go and purchase stuff from his label and Groover, which is hella cheap, by the way, at hex-records.blogspot.com. He sells the Groover for $3, and it's like $2 shipping. It's fucking cheap, and it's awesome. And as well as selling the stuff for so cheap, he's got MP3 samples for the bands on the label that you can listen to before you order. Before you're a big spender, that $3, you can see if that's one you really like. The one thing I have noticed about him, though, is he has a very good ear. He's got some very good taste, and out of about 12 bands that he suggested that I listen to, I've absolutely fallen in love with 11 of them, all but one. And that one I liked, and I left on my iPod. I liked him, but it wasn't the same feeling as those other 11, where it was just kind of like, holy shit, you're like, how did I live my whole life without these guys? They're that kind of awesome bands. So the stuff that he finds and the people that he's signing are phenomenal. He's just got really good taste. Big fan. So check them out. hex-blogspot.com. hex-records.blogspot.com. I'm special today. And also he's on Twitter, and there's a link to the website from there, and it's Twitter /Hex Records, all one word, HEX Records. So check him out. The next album I suggest you listen to, if you haven't already, is the latest Enslaved, and I do not want to say this title. Axioma Ethica Odinai. It's typical Enslaved, very good. It's a winner. I like Enslaved. I like the type of feelings you get from listening to the music, the emotions that come through. It's dark, but it's also kind of has a lighter feeling sometimes. And there's a few different songs that kind of bugged with the lighter, happier vocals, softer vocals, but it also had more of a happier feeling. But then there's also some of the slower, lighter vocals that are still dark and depressive, like Nightlight. That one I like a lot. That one I can tolerate. But overall, you know, it's still a damn good album. So give it a listen. And the last and final band is Heathen's Foray. I don't understand why I cannot ever pronounce anything. Heathen's Foray, and the album is called Armored Bards. This is their second album, and it's melodic Viking metal, but to me it sounds more like Ren Fair metal than Viking metal. They're definitely very melodic, though. Very melodic and very fast. These guys have a lot of talent. It is their second release, and there is a definite improvement in their music and their sound from the first album. So that part's awesome. They have this happy, bouncy feeling, though, and kind of Ren Fair feeling that bugs. So I'm not a big fan, although I can recognize that they're very talented, and I know there's several people out there that will really love them and love the first one as well. So yeah, give them a try, even if it's just to get a feeling for that fucking bard sound. It's weird. And I know it's not just because of the title. It's like Ren Fair sound. It's not my thing. That, and it's really happy. So I guess with them showing so much progression from album 1 to album 2, maybe album 3 will just be phenomenal. Let's hope that they keep that up. And if they ever decide to come over to the dark, depressive, suicidal side, maybe I'll be a bigger fan. But I will be taking it off the iPod just because the happy, bouncy feeling I can't handle. At least not this week. We'll see next week. Yeah, so hopefully next time I'm back with less. So you don't have to sit here for 8 hours listening to me whine about people. But the next time you see me, for sure, though, I'll be baking cookies for Dario since I lost that competition. It'll be the last one I lose, though. Have a good week.